this episode, Brett, Tyler, and Dude finally get to crack open some Green River to see what all the fuss is about. We taste both the rye-based and wheated offerings from Green River. Tune in to find out what we think on this episode of The Bourbon Hunters. But before we get started, do you want to support our podcast? Do you like bourbon gear? Visit our website at www.bourbonhunters.com to buy some of our custom bourbon gear and support the podcast. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us on our hunt for great bourbon. Reward yourself and sit back, grab a pour, kick up your feet, and enjoy. Welcome to another episode of the Bourbon Hunters. I'm Dude Pool. I'm joined by
Red Ryan
and Tyler. We got the gang back together again. What is happening?
Right?
Seriously.
On a Monday.
The girls are back in town. So
The girls are back in town? I thought it was the boys are back in
No,
town.
it's the girls.
Not when Tyler sings it. Not when Tyler sings it. So, all right. We got two Green Rivers in front of us. We've got a short episode today. We'll have a longer episode next week with Jack Daniels single barrel picks. But we've got two Green Rivers today. Their regular bourbon whiskey and then also their wheated bourbon whiskey, which is, what's that, 100 proof?
Yes. No, 90 proof, sorry.
They're both
90
they're both
proof.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Yep.
We'll talk more about those when we get to them.
10, and I was like, oh.
But in the meantime, Brett, what's happening, buddy?
I just got back from vacation.
Where'd you go?
I went up to Michigan to a city called New Buffalo where I'd never been before. Tyler, I don't know if you've heard of New Buffalo being from.
Yeah, but I've just never been because it's right on the border.
So when they made this city, was Buffalo, New York that old that they had to call it New Buffalo?
I don't know where the name came from, and it's really weird because it's right on the border of Indiana, like Tyler said, and Indiana's in Central Time, and New Buffalo's in Eastern Time. So, like, as you go places, you keep changing time.
Oh, that's
and,
cool.
like, I wondered, there was a little coffee. I love to, like, go to coffee shops and just, like, you know, little freestanding, you know what I mean? Not, like, mom and pop coffee shops, what I want to say.
Starbucks.
Yeah, correct,
Right.
not chain. And so I was like, oh, cool. And for some reason, they don't open until, like, 8 o'clock or, like, 7. It's weird. Anyway.
A coffee place?
Yeah, I'm like, they should open at, like, 6.
Right.
And anyway, I'm like, oh, cool. Nope. Cross the border. You got to wait another hour.
Yeah,
fuck.
Hey, if you stood on the other side of the border and yelled your order
Right.
over, would they take it?
I want a large. No. So that was kind of weird. I didn't know that there is a national park. Yes, I said that right. Not a state park, but a national park in Indiana up there with like the sand dunes and all that.
That one's a big one.
I mean, it was, but it wasn't like.
Did you go up to Warren Dunes?
I didn't go to Warren Dunes.
Okay.
I went. There were 3 dunes. They call it like the 3 dune challenge that you hike these 3 dunes. And it's only a mile and a half, but fuck, was it miserable. Because it's like all uphill and you're in sand. So you're like sinking the whole time.
Was it uphill on the way back, too?
Yeah, both ways it's uphill. Like it's an anomaly. I don't know how, but. So that was pretty miserable. And the mosquitoes were really fucking bad.
Yeah.
And like, I guess they're called sand fleas.
Yep.
We're fucking biting you everywhere.
Were the sand fleas more off the beach? Or did you get them on the beach too?
They were off the beach.
Yeah.
They were kind of in because if you could imagine
like in the dry sand area.
Yeah, if you could imagine a jungle with sand.
Yes, that's what
how
it is.
This was literally, and then
So a jungle with like 0 trees and tons of sunlight.
tons of trees everywhere,
Yeah.
but sand everywhere as well.
Okay.
It was
Dude,
really
when
strange.
you go camping in Michigan, like you have to fucking dump buckets of sand out of everything when you come back.
You're really selling it here, guys.
Yeah.
And there was one cool hike where it led to like a private section. It's not that it was a private beach; it was like private access, maybe.
Sure.
It's anyone can go to it, but you have to hike. Maybe
It's you don't have like a drive up to it.
yeah,
you
it's
know
like a
what I mean?
2-mile hike to
Yeah.
get to it, and so that was neat, and it was quiet and peaceful. Overall, it was a cool little town. I liked Saugatuck better where I went last year for sure, just because New Buffalo was really small.
I don't know that I've ever had. Well, it's probably actually further than some of the other towns from more of like the Metro Detroit area. Like you could go to Ludington, Holland, any of those. Actually, this last week, my parents and brother, they were up in Charlevoix and Lake Charlevoix. So Lake Charlevoix actually like touches Lake Michigan.
Okay.
And they were on a boat, and it's like 20 some miles from like where they were on the one end to Lake Michigan. So like That's a far fucking drive in a boat.
Yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
20 miles is a
and
far
then they
drive
were
in a
out
boat.
on the Lake Michigan, and they came back in. They were in like a 30-some foot Formula, which was
Oh, nice.
I
That's
was
a
like,
nice
fuck,
boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad was like looking it up, and it was like 350 grand.
Dude, there were some really nice boats in the harbor there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like big. Like I don't know at
Yachts.
what point it becomes a yacht, but I
Like,
consider a yacht
massive.
when there's like a boat hanging off the back of the boat.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, that's a yacht to me.
So,
I think that's generally a good sign.
I mean, so it's very common for a couple of things. One, to have those big boats and then go up and down the seaboard. But a lot of people also do this. The super rich people will.
I think the Chicagoans is what it is.
Yeah, the Chicagoans, but they will go up and out basically the Hudson River to New York and down to Florida. And then
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's like a
It's like a
it's
several
like a
month trip.
It's like a 6-8 month thing that they'll do is they'll boat from the Great Lakes out through the Hudson River.
That's cool though.
Down the coast. Yeah.
And then I'll be done with it after this. It was neat. There is an Amtrak stop right
It
there
is.
in New Buffalo, and it runs you to Chicago.
Yep.
So there were these Amtraks running back and forth all the
Did
time to
you-
Chicago, and I thought that was cool.
Did you think about like a day trip or anything like that? Where
To
like,
Chicago?
yeah, where you're like, we could take a morning one and come back.
No, I mean,
I used to ride that Amtrak to visit my girlfriend all the time from
nice.
Ann Arbor to Chicago.
That's cool.
Sucked.
I didn't think about it. I just
Yeah.
wanted to like just.
I'm guessing you didn't go to Journeyman. Yeah, it's outside of New Buffalo, but I had their rye, and I thought it was great.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
from what I know, they just distill their own stuff.
I tried to stop at one little like rinky-dink liquor shop, and they didn't have anything.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of like, meh. I brought some things. You know what I mean? I almost killed a bottle of Henry McKenna.
Did you camp or did you do like Airbnbs?
Airbnb.
Nice,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, I had a decent sized Airbnb. It was like 5 bedroom, 5 bathroom. So that was fun. And then like obviously it was like my girlfriend, her mom and stepdad, and then her sister and their 2 kids. So that's kind of what we
Nice.
did the Airbnb, and like, you know, we
Anyone your age?
I mean, no, I'm the oddball, right? Because her
It was
parents
like
are
everyone
older or
kids
younger.
are younger. You're like,
Yeah.
okay.
So I'm kind of the oddball of the group.
How the younger kids? How old were they?
2 and 4.
Oh, so it was not even like they were like 20,
Right.
you know, to hang out with.
Oh yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
It was truly like
Well, so
Mellow.
her sister is
except for the guy drinking gallons of vodka.
yeah.
No, that was the neighbor.
Yeah. So the sister is 26 maybe, and then her husband's like 29 or 27, 29. So he's cool.
Yeah.
I partied with him, and I partied with her stepdad and whatnot. And her stepdad loves to just like drink and cook. And that's what he would just like. Next thing you know, he'd be like, "Hey, I made these jalapeno poppers." He's like, "What the fuck?"
Where'd
He
these
brought
come
it
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah, he brought a Blackstone grill,
Ooh.
and he was just cooking shit on it nonstop. You'd get up and he'd make eggs and sausage and bacon. And the next thing I know, we had these jalapeno poppers that were like bacon wrapped with cream cheese and sauce, like all kinds
Dude,
of. Like,
I
what the
fucking-
fuck? But it was fun. I mean, that part, you know.
Not to hijack it, but I
No, you're
fucking so we grew up before we had our lake house. We grew up camping in our neighborhood, or just our friend group had a bunch of kids our age. There's probably 6-7 families that had pop-up campers. And so our vacations in the summertime a lot of times were centered around camping with these other families. So 1, maybe 2 a year. And so the fun thing is we're all kids together, but like a family would do breakfast and a family would do dinner and like lunch, just smorgasbord. But like it was like you'd wake up and like, you know, some family was making like breakfast or like eggs and bacon over the fire pit, and you're just like, fuck, this is so nice.
I like doing that. I like
Yeah.
one dinner you go out, like one meal, like whether you want to go out for lunch and then
Yeah.
make dinner at home, or you make lunch at home and then go out for dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of like doing a mixture of that, but
Yeah.
I've rambled enough.
All right, so I've got poured in the glasses here. We've got some Green River, their standard bourbon, and just to
Yeah, tell me about this Green River. I'll be honest, I've never had it.
Okay, so Green River is the 10th oldest distillery in Kentucky.
That's cool.
Started in 1855. They went through a lot of things. I think they had a big old fire in like 1918 or something like that, and it burned up like 30,000 barrels of bourbon. They went out of business. Didn't come back till after Prohibition, 1933, and then they went dark for a long time. Came back in I think 2014, started rebuilding, and I think 2021 or 2022 they released a bottle, their first bottle, the one we're about to have here.
So this is their own distillate?
This is their own distillate, as far as I know. Yes. Now, just this year, Bardstown Bourbon Company bought them. Which, we haven't really seen what that's going to mean for them, but this is their original release. This is the Kentucky Straight Bourbon. They also have a wheated, and they have a single barrel program. We don't have any single barrel at our disposal, so we have just the 2 right now. But it says aged on site at some of the oldest warehouses in the state. This 90 proof whiskey is rich in color with a golden amber hue, which I'd say that's accurate.
I'd say it's a golden amber.
Green River is made with locally sourced corn, featuring a mash bill of 70% corn, 21% winter rye, and 9% malted barley. The higher rye content contributes warming spice notes on the nose and palate. So let's nose it. See what you guys think. While we're doing that, Trina and I went to the service bar, Middle West Spirits. This
how was it?
You didn't send any
outstanding
photos after your.
I've been wanting to go there. I really
was
have.
outstanding.
I keep
So-
putting it off.
Now, here's the thing about Middle West Spirit, the service bar, is it could probably be as expensive or as cheap as you want it to be. Like their burger and their chicken sandwich were like $16, $17 each, something like that. Trina and I got an appetizer, the chicken sandwich and burger, a dessert, and 2 drinks.
2 drinks each.
No, 1 drink each.
Okay.
And it was like it was $88 or something like that. So it was over $100 after tip.
It seems to be like the norm anymore, though. For
If you're getting all
for
of those
that,
things.
yes, for that,
for sure.
yes.
Now, I will say we got this squash tempura that was like 3. It was almost like 3 pepper jalapeno popper type things. But it came with like a side of these. I don't know how to pronounce the peppers, but they're the long green peppers. They were kind of cooked on the flat top.
Starts with like an S, I feel like.
Yeah, it's like
one?
sashimoto or something, peppers or something. I don't know. I'm making that up. But and
it
then it came with the 3 appetizers, and then it came with the it was like a sweet and sour sauce. It was freaking outstanding.
Yeah.
I said this the other day, and like this is not a thing at Middle West. It's everywhere. But have you noticed that appetizers are more expensive than entrees sometimes?
In some cases,
yeah,
for sure.
And they'll fucking get you because they'll call them small plates.
Yes.
And the fucking appetizer will be like $18, and you're like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
There was a charcuterie board for $25 as an app, and I'm like,
charcuterie boards are stupid. That's like honestly,
it's a Lunchable.
It's an adult Lunchable.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like $25, which I didn't get it.
I think charcuterie boards are this trendy thing. I think they're doing it to get, like honestly, I really feel like they're doing it to get the trendy. What are those guys called again? Hipsters.
Oh.
Like honestly, I think that's what they're trying to do.
No, I would make a charcuterie board and bring it. Like if you had.
No, that's fine. But at a restaurant, I think it's a biggest.
That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you.
Because they're fun to like snack on, right?
They are.
You can literally have a million different things.
For example, I went to Maker's Mark to do that pick with them, and one of the things they started us with was a charcuterie board. Now we didn't pay for this meal. So it was outstanding.
Yeah,
right.
So it was.
But it would have probably been a $50 charcuterie board.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
That's crazy.
Guaranteed. It was a good charcuterie board, but it would have been expensive.
I like the spice on this.
This has a really like dusty nose to it.
It does, which is interesting
dusty,
to me.
Like,
I didn't see the age on this, but it is 90 proof. I don't know if the age is even stated.
I smell that rye spice for me.
Yeah.
I think so too. That like the winter rye, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rye is a good way to describe that.
Well, that's what it is. It's actually winter rye.
There's just something like winter about it.
Yeah,
like
no,
it's cold out, and
I was going to say I don't know anything about winter rye, what it tastes like, but
it smells like a sweater.
It can't be fucking October soon enough, man.
I know. So tomorrow's August. I was just talking about this. Football season's right around the fucking corner.
So fucking close.
We are
wait.
almost to football season.
Yeah. I know. I'm ecstatic about it.
Insane.
Yeah, I've never been more excited to watch Michigan State be terrible.
Are they supposed to be bad this year?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The following year is supposed to be their like make or break, and that will all be like relative in a fucking stacked conference. But
the best meme I've seen was a week ago. The one I sent you guys said 50 days until Tua's concussion protocol begins.
Yeah. I mean, I always look forward to it, but I mean, Michigan State, I think at best would be 8 or 7 wins. You know.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
right.
you have some of Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State. It's supposed to all be really, really good.
You play all of them?
Yeah.
Oh,
they
wow.
do. Yeah.
All right.
Ohio State's at like a primetime game, I think they announced.
Oh, it's 7:30. I can't
Yeah.
fucking wait.
Yeah.
Can I have to wait?
Here or there?
Here.
It's gonna be here. Want to go?
Can you get tickets?
Not for you, but I can get.
Yes, you
I
can.
I cannot.
Yes, you can. I'll be quiet.
I cannot.
I won't cheer.
I cannot.
I won't
I mean,
cheer.
I can. So people will post them at work. I don't know if they will want face value, secondary.
It will
but
be
if
face value for the Michigan State game for sure. I would say
people love their night games though.
Oh,
Yeah,
they do.
Night games.
So if I
Price goes
see
up.
any posted,
Let me
'cause
know.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'll just
I love
and I
night
can give you
games
my
because
ID.
like you can get up and like work out
Do
and
they
like
actually,
enjoy your
I've never
fucking
had
life.
my ID checked going into
I
the
have
stadium.
the last couple years. I have.
Really?
Yeah. It just depends on when you're going in.
I can pass for you.
Yeah, oh, you absolutely could. If it's like that big rush when everyone's like you hear the band playing and everyone's going in, you're
Yeah.
fine.
You're just
No.
like,
But
Okay.
if you're late or early, they're going to check it.
Why do you go to a game if you're late?
I've been like tailgating before.
Yeah,
I'm
I've been
like, oh,
tailgate. You
fuck.
just plan better. You tailgate
Because
earlier,
I'm not one that like has to see
especially
the
for
band.
a night game.
You know what I mean?
seeing-
I like
the
seeing
band.
it, but I don't. I'm not like freaking out if I don't see it
Well,
because I'll see it at halftime.
I don't freak out about anything.
Yeah. Some people are like, "With the band, we gotta go."
We gotta
For the
go.
non-Ohio State people listening,
What do you guys think
Ohio
about
State
this,
football is a
by the way?
religion.
It is. I really enjoy it.
Yeah,
I
it's
enjoyed
actually
as
pretty
well.
good. I'm a little surprised at how good it is.
I should probably talk about tasting.
I
notes.
remember looking for this for a while, couldn't find it anywhere, and then finally found it when I was in.
What's the price? Sorry.
I think it was like $40, maybe. I don't know. It
That's
wasn't
a
that-
great $40.
Yeah, it wasn't
bottle.
that
Yeah,
bad. It's been a while since I bought it, so I don't remember exactly, but I think it was around that.
it leaves something to be desired for, like palate viscosity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not bad. I just wish
yeah,
it
but
had
you know
a little
what?
more.
For a 90 proofer, I don't know that I expect there to be a ton of viscosity,
yeah.
but
semi-new still.
it also has some viscosity to it. It's just not like crazy.
Oh yeah.
Is that buttered popcorn?
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it is.
No, because I was sitting there thinking, "Gosh, this tastes like something," and I couldn't put my finger on it. But I think it is buttered popcorn. I think you're right.
Yeah, something sweet and something grainy. You know.
Yeah, it just
The
reminded
corn.
me of
I mean,
like
the corn is still
like
there.
movie popcorn. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the butter on movie popcorn.
Interesting. So back to my story. We ordered the burger and the chicken sandwich, and the burger was really good. It had pickles on it, and I don't even remember the last time I've had a burger with pickles on it, because
I like pickles.
generally I do too, especially on a burger, and I don't because I always get that burger at the Pearl. And it doesn't have
Yeah.
pickles on it. It's got that cheese and the like a little bit of an aioli, and then
Like
that
a jam or something
tomato
in there,
jam. Yeah, it's a tomato jam.
And I'm hungry.
And it didn't have any of that type of stuff. It had a little bit of sauce to it. It had pickles, had some cheese. It was a really good burger. Just a good burger.
Come with fries?
The fries were phenomenal. They're probably the best fries I've had in a long time.
Fries will make or break a burger for me.
I don't
You know what I
disagree.
mean?
I don't. And for me, that's why the Pearl burger is so good too. Is the fries are always good there too. But these fries were better than the Pearls. And then, I know that's sacrilege, Tyler, to speak poorly of Cameron Mitchell.
Do you
restaurant.
finish on the fries or do you finish on the burger?
Okay. This is a hot take, and this might be divisive. This might be about like Tyler with Ted Lasso. This is a good question, because
It is.
we've got a couple of ways to do this. So
A couple of ways.
no. So a couple of things I wanted to mention. So first off, when you eat your burger, do you eat it upright, or do you flip it over when you eat it?
Now I know that you're supposed to flip it, but I do not because I think I forget
it.
about doing it.
Flip it.
So that the
over.
top is actually on the bottom.
It has to do with like what you're tasting.
Because the all the toppings are on the top of the burger.
Oh,
and
I don't-
If you flip it over to your mouth, then your tongue comes in contact with the flavors quicker.
I've
I thi-
never
I-
even heard of that.
I've
heard of it.
I honestly think it's bullshit, but I do it now just in case.
Yeah.
I don't want
Just
to
in
miss
case.
that. Just in case.
Like a pretentious fucking asshole.
Yes,
I-
exactly.
With
That.
With your
I
pinky
have-
out.
My
yes.
pinky sticks out.
I have been cutting my burgers.
I always cut my burger.
It allows me to eat slower, and if I want to save half of it, which I typically don't do,
It keeps my
but
toppings
it gives you
from
the
falling off.
option.
it gives me the
Yeah.
option.
It's topping. It keeps my
And
toppings from
burgers are
falling
one
off,
of
man.
the absolute worst things to have left over.
Yeah.
The absolute fucking worst.
I agree.
Unless you like
Soggy bun.
take take the fucking bun off and then just have a fresh one at home, but then you're still missing a lot of the flavors, the juices, any sauces.
When I reheat a burger, I put it in the oven.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense because
microwave it just doesn't do that.
Yeah, crisp up the burger. If you have a toaster oven, that works too.
A lot of times I'll put it in the broiler for a quicker turnaround, but a lot of times you have to take it off the bun to do that.
Yeah.
Flip the bun, inside out, up.
Yeah.
So that you can get a little toast back to it.
Sometimes I'll take it home and I'll have it for lunch, and if I just want something that's like carbless, I'm like, okay, that's
Pull the
perfect.
bun off,
You know what I mean? On this note, what else were you going to say about Pearl before I move on?
Well, you got to answer my fry question. Do you end on fries or end on the burger?
So I'm a meal guy person, and so that generally means that I'll eat the burger. I'll eat some fries as I go, but I'll eat the burger. I'll finish the burger and still have half my fries left.
Yeah.
And then I'll eat my fries because I don't want to not finish the burger.
Yes.
Oh, yes, for sure.
So then if I don't finish my fries, I don't feel so bad.
I'll say if I absolutely love like the Pearl's tots, I'll almost finish the entire tots first, and then I'll go to the burger. Only because I'm like, I really like these.
There's not a ton of the tots either, where there's a lot of the fries.
Yeah, but it just depends on the side and what it is.
Just fries. I was just going with fries. I usually end on fries as well.
Yeah, I'll say end because I can give or take those. But yeah. What else were you gonna say, dude? Anything else before I?
Then we got a Bananas Foster dessert.
Oh, fuck yeah!
But it was not your typical Bananas Foster. It was interesting. It had a tahini ice cream, sesame seeds on it, and then it had like a chocolatey custardy thing.
Chocolatey custardy. So every once in a while, I make a food mistake that I always make, and I just fucking regret it every single time.
What, like, give an example?
So this is my example, and I only have them every so often, and it's why I'm like. So we went to Steak Escape last night. I was like, I finished at the gym. It was late, and I was like, we're gonna have
place on Hilliard Road.
Yeah,
okay.
And I was like, I want to have an early dinner, and a Philly just sounded fantastic. For some reason, in my head, I think that lettuce and mayo on my Philly sounds good. I don't know if I had it once in my life where I'm like, sounds good. Like I had it once and it was like, this is great. So I always get it and I always regret it. I always get it. But then every single time, like 2 months later, I'll get another Philly and I'm like, lettuce and mayo sounds good. And it's just fucking not. And every single time I'm like, Tyler, you're a fucking idiot.
Now mayo, I could get behind. Lettuce I don't know. Lettuce on a Philly cheesesteak just doesn't.
I'm just like hoping it kind of like
to me
like soaks a little bit and like it just adds a crunchiness, but it fucking doesn't.
No, so for me, Philly cheesesteak is like one of my favorite sandwiches.
I do love a good Philly.
Yeah, it's so good.
And the essentials to a Philly cheesesteak, the things you have to have, in my opinion, are the meat, obviously, and the cheese. Yeah. So those are the first two.
Yeah.
And then I honestly think the veggies, the peppers and the onions, are easily the best
part. Do you
part.
like mushrooms on yours?
That was going to be my little possible hot take. I love mushrooms on my Philly cheesesteak.
I do too. I like green peppers.
Green peppers, red peppers, whatever.
Yeah, red peppers I could give or take, but
green peppers I could give or take.
Yeah, but
red peppers actually have the flavor.
Yeah, they're sweeter.
Green peppers.
Here
are
is
just
my
too earthy
hot take on this.
Ooh.
I fucking hate Cheese Whiz on my Philly.
That's the original, man.
I don't like Cheese Whiz in general.
I only like provolone or American.
Listen, so
white American cheddar.
Pat's
and Geno's, right? Those are the two that battle it out in Philly.
Yeah,
they're not that good.
I've heard they're not that good.
They're not that good.
But they were the original.
They're the original, so everyone goes there. And I think one of them didn't even use. I can't remember how to. I think one of them didn't originally start with cheese, and then the other one used Cheese Whiz. Yeah. But it is. It's like Cheese Whiz. That's what they use.
I do not like it.
Yeah, there's so many better things happening with Philly cheesesteaks. Like, thank you for creating them.
Sure.
I appreciate it. but you suck at it.
Yeah.
Now that they've been perfected.
Do you like Cheese Whiz over
I don't,
like provolone or white American?
My favorite
provolone.
Philly cheesesteak at a restaurant is actually Cap City.
Yeah, you've said that.
It is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, now the one thing I will say is they just changed up all their sandwiches recently. I've only gotten it one time since then. Wasn't as impressed. Wasn't as impressed. They changed the bread. And the bread for me is a huge component of the Philly cheesesteak.
Do you like what bread do you like in yours?
Well, I don't know that I like a specific type of bread, but it's got to be like one of
French
two things.
Or Italian?
Yes, like one of those, yeah.
A little crispy.
They can do
one of the two.
They can do either of those well.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say, oh, it's got to be French or oh, it's got to be Italian. I don't care one way or the other, but it's got to be done well. And for me, there's two really acceptable options for done well bread.
Okay.
Well done bread.
Soggy or crispy. I like myself a sloppy Philly cheesesteak sometimes, and for it to be sloppy, it can't be a crispy bread. It's got to be a soggy bread.
Yeah, it's got to be more of like an Italian style.
Almost like a French dip, almost is what it ends up being.
Oh, I do like a French dip.
Well,
it's been a minute.
So that's when you're kind of getting into like the Chicago beef.
No, you're still Philly cheesesteak because all the toppings and stuff. Chicago beef is a completely different topping set.
It is. Well, you can do it with or without peppers, but they dunk a lot of times.
Oh, yeah, I know. Dipped or covered or smothered or whatever.
Yeah.
Spanked or whatever they do at Waffle House.
I want you to smell this. So this is the weeded. It immediately reminded me of something, and it shouldn't remind me of this at all. But it reminded me of it reminded me of
something else.
A brown liquor.
A brown liquor?
That dude probably has back there, so it's...
An American malt.
Probably a rye or something.
He's on the right track.
Probably a Michter's rye, or...
It reminds me of the Angel's Envy rye.
Oh, no, it's
I don't
not,
know
it's
that
not
I know
enough
it.
pancake syrup.
But there's a little bit of that there.
That's
Is it just
honestly,
me?
Yeah.
Just me, Tyler?
What?
Do you like the pancakiness, like the mapley, pancakey?
There's some sweetness there for sure.
It's like a breakfast bread for sure, but it's not as sweet.
Yeah, it's not as heavy as the Angel's Envy rye, but
Yeah,
that's
Angel's
just
Envy
like
rye smells like you just walked into a pancake.
Oh my god,
house.
it does. I want some.
Like
I
the
need to buy
mixture of
one
the
those.
pancakes and the actual syrup.
Ooh, you know what Jillian and I had recently?
Sex.
So when we were out at my
Baby number 3.
I don't know if I talked about this a couple weeks ago on the podcast, but when we were out for my buddy's birthday at Odie's, the next morning, luckily our kids were with the in-laws, and like I forced Jillian. I was like, we have to.
Hold on. The next morning, I forced Jillian. So go on. Go on.
I'm
enjoying the story so far.
Yeah.
And hey, just for the record, Brett and I usually don't have to force her.
Yeah. So I was like, we rarely get time alone, so
it's still going in the same direction.
Still forcing.
Yeah.
Still going in the same direction.
Jillian and I are much more breakfast people.
Holy shit! This is the most Trina story I've ever heard.
No,
You're 2 minutes into the story. I still have no idea what you're trying to say.
We went to what's the breakfast
Brunch?
place? And we went to breakfast.
Starliner?
No, not Starliner. Starliner is good, but there's always like a fucking weird wait, and there's like 70 people.
That's why you use the app, and you
I didn't know there's a fucking app.
God,
yeah,
you're an amateur. Man. Calls himself a foodie. Skip the ones. Always skip
what's
the ones.
the healthier place that's in Hilliard?
First Watch?
First Watch.
Oh, First Watch is good.
I wouldn't call it healthy.
It is. It's definitely healthier of the breakfast
Healthier
places.
than what?
They have
Of breakfast places.
They have some healthy options.
Oh yeah. So
It's not
we
a
did,
healthy
and I was like,
place.
it just fucking hit the spot. It just
Hey,
hit the spot.
I like First Watch a lot.
If you like First Watch, now I've heard that the one at Easton is not very good, but in other cities, Destin, for example, I think we've done one in Nashville. Yes, we definitely have done one in Nashville. Another Broken Egg. I swear it's the exact same company as it may not be as First Watch, but they have almost the exact same setup. But they're
You know what is like a poor man's fucking First Watch? Scramblers.
Oh God, Scramblers, and what's the other one? That's Sunny Street.
I do like Sunny Street
Cafe.
Well,
Jeez.
because what they had in the past was like
himself a foodie.
Sunny Street had a stuffed biscuits and gravy.
Oh.
And that's where I was like, that it's like my go-to every.
The word stuffed always gets my attention, but
Yeah.
I'm not a big biscuits and gravy kind of
Oh,
guy.
I
love
love
biscuits and
gravy.
gravy.
I know a lot of people do, and I'm
It
just
doesn't
for some
love
reason
me.
Yeah.
there's something about it's like the hamburger gravy type stuff that I don't feel like it's a breakfast thing.
I can see that.
I could see
what
it as
you're
like a
saying.
lunchy, brunchy type thing, but not a breakfast.
I actually went healthy this time. I got a fucking farmer's omelet and
I'm getting the bread now finally.
fruit and yogurt.
I like this one way better. I gotta go soon.
Did you-
so sorry.
did you
I'm not
drink
trying-
it?
I tried it. Yeah.
We'll wrap it up.
Sorry.
That's what we told Jillian too.
Yeah.
See how that got it, or how that worked. I like this one
We haven't
better.
gotten the paternity test back yet, have we?
It's just best not to know.
Well, it is weeded. You generally like
Ooh.
makers and different things like
It just,
that.
you know what though? It just depends. Because
Rebel.
like Russell's Reserve is one of my absolute favorites, and it's not weeded.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it just depends on what I've had for the day or how I'm feeling.
What's the schnoz say today?
The schnoz is really liking this.
No, I like this too. It's my first. I just opened it for the show. This is pretty good.
I told you on the nose, I got this maybe like pound cake. There's like a bread in there.
Yeah.
A mapley bread.
This, I think, has more to it than the rye does.
I think so.
Well,
it's not
Like, it just has,
the rye bourbon, you mean?
yeah,
Okay.
like it just has more, going on,
Complexity,
which is
like, yeah.
surprising.
Yeah, because generally speaking, I would agree weeded bourbons are a little softer, so they don't always have that complexity. But I think the older they are, and I don't know how old these are, but the older they are, the more generally speaking, they start to open up more. They start to get a little more. And people say that weeded bourbons take longer, to age than rye bourbons. So
I thought someone fell. That's why I looked up. It's the mouthfeel on this. The mouthfeel is better than the other one. It has a little more tongue coating, and I'm really big on that, like that mouthfeel, texture, all that stuff.
yeah.
Oh, it's the mouth pops too. There, that was it.
yeah. Pop
Haven't
rocks.
done 'em.
The pop rocks.
Haven't done them in a little bit.
We haven't been here in a little bit. That's part
valid.
of it. So, I haven't talked to you since we did the Smoke Wagon episode about here. I don't think. Anyway, did you see the name I gave it?
I did not.
I used the line from Tombstone. Skin those smoke wagons and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's the name of that episode.
That's such a good
and it's
movie.
already over 1,000. It's already over 1,000 downloads.
Skin them smoke wagons. Val Kilmer does a fantastic job in that movie.
Oh, speaking of which, so this is interesting. The "I'm Your Huckleberry" line, right?
I'm your Huckleberry.
So I guess there was
He's got to look it up. He's like spinning.
no from historians. There was, I guess, some they thought it was a flub. Because the phrase back in the day was hucklebearer,
Oh,
and that was another name for a pallbearer.
Okay.
Meaning, I'll be your pallbearer. But it was also the job of someone who was a hucklebearer to stand over the grave and listen for the grave bell. Which I don't know if they put that above the grave, so if they woke up,
right. They
then
could ring the bell. Yeah,
right.
that was a legit thing.
Yeah. Well, that's why the Irish that's why they did the wakes, because a lot of times people they'd think they were dead before they actually buried them.
And they
They'd
would
let
wake up.
them sit on the table and then they'd wake up. And so, anyway, what I found interesting though is that Val Kilmer and who was it who did that movie?
Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer.
No, but the director.
oh God, I don't know who directed it.
Not a big movie guy.
Anyway,
Really? I'm a big movie guy.
So anyway, there was a book that was written, and there was a line in there says "I'm your Huckleberry," and basically Huckleberry is like "I'm your man for the job" type of thing.
Yeah.
And so I guess when they read that, they inserted that.
Neat.
But I just thought that was a cool story. Like that, the "I'm your Huckleberry." That's like the most famous line in the whole thing, almost. And it's because of Val Kilmer. Like he says it twice.
Yeah,
he says, "I'll be your
he does.
Huckleberry," or "I'm your Huckleberry."
It's a very popular, modern Western, which, speaking of movies, and then I am going to go here in a moment, I watched that Joyride movie that you wanted to go see.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would pay to go see it in the theater. It had
Is
some...
it not raunchy and funny?
It's raunchy, but... How do I want to say this? They're trying too hard. It's almost like... Remember You People from Netflix?
Yes.
It's almost like they're trying too hard to be woke.
I actually enjoyed You People.
And talking about it's a lot of it's about like Asian hate. You know what I mean? And because did you ever see Crazy Rich Asians?
Yeah, I love that movie.
It's a lot of those same people are in it, and it's a whole lot of like Chinese versus Japanese versus Korean is in there, and just yes, there were very funny moments. Sorry. But some of it just also felt a little forced.
Yeah.
And I'm a little like apprehensive.
I feel like that's happening a lot more recently.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just like too sensitive and apprehensive of that stuff, but I don't like when these things feel like forced.
And for me, there's two ways you can force things like that. There's the way that Tyler had to force Jillian the other morning. So I guess there's three ways, I guess.
It's called statutory. No.
It's not statutory.
She's of age.
Yeah. No, the first way that I feel like they can force things is by over-explaining things or over-trying to
draw attention to things.
Well, that's the second way.
Okay.
Is trying to make it show everyone, hey, we know about this injustice. We're going to put a spotlight on it, spell it out for you, and explain that we don't agree with this injustice. That's the second way.
Mm-hmm. The best is just like one-off jokes about it here.
Yes, agree.
Right.
And
or
so
the first is just having it be visible, not explaining it to everybody, and just putting it in the movie.
The trailer.
Yeah, like the trailer
is, oh my God.
That's such a perfect example.
And so when I saw the trailer.
Of what?
Of a great, breaking down barriers.
Breaking down
so
barriers.
You guys thought it was good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to make sure we're on the page.
Thing that it was just quick.
Yeah.
It was a quick joke, or not a quick joke, but a quick thing that
kind of like an insult.
An insult that might happen nowadays.
And then the kid gets punched in the face.
Kid gets punched in the face by a
great.
fucking little Asian girl.
It's great.
And it's fucking cryable.
Yes.
But then move on.
Yes.
Just move on.
And they do in that scene. They move on and little girls are friends. And then the rest of the movie they grow up. And so it's about
also, is that early?
Yeah, that's
like the opening.
That's literally the opening scene,
cool.
the trailer.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it is they're grown up. And I mean, go see it. You know, I'm not telling you to not watch it. I wanted more out of it.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm being hypersensitive.
Just
I don't know.
More.
No, so the other way, so I mentioned the second way. The first way is where they dumb it down to a point where they think they have to spoon feed it to you and tell you that, they tell you all of these things, like the social injustices and all that stuff, before they then move on to part two. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I'm going to nerd out here. Mm-hmm. The Star Wars scene I think it was the second Star Wars movie most recently in the last trilogy. Okay. So it was like episode 8, I think.
Okay.
The Force Awakens or something. I don't remember what it was. It was the second one in the last 3. Where they go to the gambling world. Holy shit, can they get on a pedestal about capitalism anymore in that movie? Like, it was like a 20-minute tirade in your face about how much whoever made this movie hated capitalism. I'm like, holy shit, fucking tone it down, buddy.
Disney made it.
This is a start. Right. Isn't that funny though?
Right.
Like, and that's the thing that irritates me too. Like, first off, you're Star Wars. No one's coming to your fucking movie to get a political education. They're wanting some entertainment.
Right.
Stay in your lane. Like, I don't mind when movies take those stances, but don't take a movie that has been dear to people for years,
the
or a
70s.
franchise, and it's been entertainment only, and then take 20 minutes out of a movie just to tell everyone how capitalism ruined a planet. Like, come on.
And you're Disney, and you're trying to take over the world.
Right,
and have a monopoly.
you're a Disney movie, which is holy shit. Let's talk about capitalism for a second.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, and the worst part is people eat this shit up. Like, it's like when you see all these stars talking about, green movement and all that stuff, and they're flying their private jets to all these things, and I'm just like, come on. And you guys are buying this stuff. You're eating it up. Like seriously. It's so frustrating to me. Like,
ride your bike.
There was this thing recently where it was, I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't remember all the details, but whoever it was a person going to a green energy conference. She flew her private jet there. She took her motor cavalcade there, and then about 2 blocks short, she got out of it, got on a bike, and then rode in for all the photographers to catch her riding a bike to the
Shocker.
side. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, that person, someone should have stuck a fucking stick in her fucking spokes and
let her flip over the
Yeah.
handlebars. But that's the stuff that irritates me.
Oh, yeah.
And people eat the stuff up. You know what I mean? Like
Agree.
that's the stuff that frustrates me the most is you've got these people living high on the hog.
Oh, yeah.
And again, I have no problem with that. If you made your millions, if you have a talent no one else has,
Yeah.
and you make your millions, or you came up with an idea no one else has,
Props to you.
I don't have a problem with that. You know, like Bezos. I know people. He should never be able to have that kind of money. I'm like, really? Because he had the
Look
idea.
what he fucking gave you.
But here's the other thing: how many people is he employing?
Right.
That
Oh,
without him,
Yeah.
maybe would have a job somewhere, but might not. I mean, he himself, just on his idea, has employed thousands.
Tens
of
of
Well,
thousands. Yeah.
But that so come on, leave him alone for a little bit. Yes, he has millions of dollars. He also or billions of dollars. He also donates a shit ton, shit ton.
If he doesn't, the government takes it, so that's
Yeah.
why he donates it.
So those are a couple
Yeah.
things for me right there. But then also, like, they're the ones putting in all the risk. Like, with their money, they're the ones, investing in buildings and investing in, technology, investing in a business plan and all these different things. And guess what? If it fails,
Right.
they
If he
lose
went-
all their money.
If he went bankrupt on his
The
idea.
people working in his factory, if it fails, they just go get a different job,
Right.
potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't lose anything except for maybe a job and a couple weeks' wages.
Yeah,
this guy
for sure.
might lose his whole fortune.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, cut these people a break.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, and it's especially what I've learned from Jillian running a small business.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just everything is a cost. Everything, and it's not a cheap cost.
When the costs are going up
Everything is a fucking
on everything.
cost. You know?
I don't envy business owners. I
Yeah,
don't.
it's fucking wild.
Especially
So-
then you talk about like insurance,
Yeah.
right? People are like, "Oh, business owners have it so good."
Like,
They don't have
oh, yeah.
insurance. They have to figure out a way to pay for insurance and pay for retirement and like
Oh, yeah.
benefit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's that whole other side that no one thinks about
Oh, yeah.
as a business owner.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, I
So
I don't take away from the workforce. Like without the workforce, obviously these things wouldn't be able to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I get there's value in the workforce, but to me, when you're putting in more of the risk and you're putting in more of the the ideas and the thoughts, other people are executing and stuff like that, but it's based off of your plan generally.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a problem with someone making that much money,
No.
unless they're screwing
Plus,
people over.
I mean, the biggest thing
or-
is they're the one at risk. Like,
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
They're the one at risk.
and that's exactly what I'm saying. Is if they go out of business, they're the one who loses their fortune.
Yeah.
And they got to figure out something to
And
do.
not to say that it's okay
Yeah,
for a
exactly.
person to lose their job, because it's not. That sucks, and it's always scary. But at the end of the day, they've just lost a job. They just have to find another job. They haven't lost millions of dollars or their fortune. That, and again, that's where all the risk, in my opinion, comes from. But without people like that who come up with a great idea, and who, and the best part of the people that complain about Bezos are probably the ones ordering the most stuff off of Amazon.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Which is also,
And they have Prime and everything else
right.
too.
So whatever. Brett, you got to get out of here.
I'm getting out of here. Yeah, thank you guys. I would buy the Green River weeded bourbon.
Yeah.
If I saw it on the shelf, 100%.
Well, good news for you. It's on the shelf. So
Perfect. The
go
bourbon's
buy a
not
bottle.
bad. Just I enjoyed the weeded.
The weeded,
more.
I enjoyed it better too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the two,
What's the price difference between the two? Are they the same?
I have no idea. I didn't look.
Check it out on.
It was over a year apart from when I bought them.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think the weeded, the new one, I think it was 40 or 45.
And this
or
was a
something
neck
like
pour.
Yeah.
that. All right.
All right, you guys take care.
And we'll wrap it up as soon as you put your
Okay.
thing down. Thanks for joining in on this episode. Stay tuned for our sweepstakes that we announced last week. If you didn't hear last week's episode, go back to it. Remember, email, subject line, Bourbon Blitz. Tell us why you'd want to go with us on our trip. And one of you will get a chance to go with us. Now, we're not paying for any of it. but
you will
but
get
you
an
will
invite.
get an invite.
To pay for yourself.
To pay for yourself to attend.
I
But,
love it.
but no, I mean, it'll be part of the group.
Yeah.
And we've already gotten some really cool emails, talking about them listening to the show and how they listen to it or when they listen to it.
Just don't be a murderer.
Yeah, just don't be a murderer.
You can be a creep,
That's
but
the
not a
only. Yeah,
murderer.
you can be a dickhead because we have to deal with Tyler anyway. So I mean,
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the reel. Did you see the reel I put on?
By the way, I've gotten so many responses that like, what is he talking about? Like you.
You were the only one in that room who did not sort their cards in a euchre hand.
Yeah, there's 5 cards.
Do you sort your cards in euchre?
Yeah.
There's
Yes,
5.
he's the
you
only
don't
one
need
who
to
doesn't.
sort them.
He
There's
was the-
5.
It doesn't matter.
It's an OCD thing, is why.
Yeah, you were the
It's not
only. You
Uno.
were the only one who didn't do it there.
Yeah, and I happen
In
to
a
be
room
really
full
good
of
at
6
euchre.
or 7 people, you were the only one who
Yeah,
didn't
I
do
was the only one that's not Ohioan. So,
it. So that explains a
so
lot.
I was right.
And on that note, we will see you next week.
Thank you for joining in for yet another episode of the Bourbon Hunters. If you like what you hear, please leave us a good rating on Apple, Podbean, Google, or wherever you are listening. It definitely helps us to get great guests on our show. And follow us on Instagram and the Facebooks to keep up to date with what is in our glass. As always, sit back, grab a pour, kick up your feet, and enjoy some bourbon.